Welcome. This is Rosetta Johnson. Welcome to Growing Gracefully. I'm so glad you made it here for another week. If you don't know, I'm your friend, your sister, your cousin, maybe even your best friend at the end of this. And if you don't know, I'm ready for a good talk. Let's get into it. There is a word, there is a phrase, there is something that we have all heard, experience, which is called self-esteem, or maybe low self-esteem. It's something for me, to be honest with, I thought was just an adolescent thing. I thought when you're a teenager, it's just part of the hormonal situation. Oh, I'm not pretty enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. And you think, once I become grown and I get this and I get that and I don't know who I am, honey, you think all that stuff just somehow, some way disappears. I have come to realize that is far from truth. Far. And more and more when you start to meet other women and in your peer group and other women who you speak to and talk to, there are a lot of women suffering from low self-esteem silently. We do a great job camouflaging that with things and relationships and the things that we've achieved. But deep down inside, there is still that young lady inside of you who is still crying and still broken. And we have learned to mask and continue in life as an adult as if we're not affected or as if we are confident. And a lot of times we're not walking in confidence. We're walking in brokenness. And I thought about that because that is really a concern for me, because as a grown woman myself now, there are moments in my life where I'm like, man, I thought I'd be past this type of thinking. But in fact, it's something I still at moments battle with. And I said, God, whatever that is, that still allows me to feel not good enough. It doesn't help that the world we live in society, everything thrown in our face is reminding us of everything we're lacking as a human being, first of all, okay? From the depiction that they show of a good body type, from the depiction they show of good hair, the depiction they show of good skin. I mean, you just be feeling like, you know what? I tried this thing called life and it don't work. It can be really discouraging by what's being thrown in your face, and a lot of times, like I said, you would think, well, I'm grown now. I surely should not still be dealing with this, or that should still not be a factor. But a lot of times we've just learned how to move through it or just live through it, but we have not dealt with it. We haven't faced it. We haven't been honest with ourselves. We're not honest with our friends. We're not honest with our girlfriends. We're not honest with our sisters. And most importantly, we're just not being honest to ourselves and just saying, hey, I'm still hurting. I'm still struggling with my identity. I'm still struggling to love me for me. We've kind of learned how to navigate through this thing by the status of who we marry, or the money we make, or the degree we accomplish, or the house we bought. A lot of different things we equate to good self-confidence. And the reality is those are wonderful things. But if you still don't appreciate and respect and admire the person who you are inside, all other things, they'll never be able to fill the void. Because at the end of the day, if you don't love and respect the person that God has made you for you, everything else is just there. And you won't even really be able to appreciate those things because you still haven't appreciated yourself. And I like I said, thinking about this thing is even something I found myself struggling with. And I had to say, God, help me in those areas. Help me to love me. Help me to see myself as you see me. My body has changed. My skin is a little iggy. My hair is not what I really want it to be. It's all types of negative things that we feed ourselves. And instead of really affirming ourselves with what God says we are, we try to affirm it with things tangible. And the reality is, sis, I promise you, I don't care what you get in life. I don't care how much money you make. I don't care how much makeup we put on. If we don't love the person that God created us to be deep down on the inside, it doesn't matter. We got to go back to square one. We got to go back to looking at that young girl that once stood there in the mirror, that was nervous, that look yourself back in the mirror and say, you know what? I am who God says I am. When he created me with a purpose. He created me with an identity. Who am I? I got to go back to loving that person. As I stated, a low self-esteem is not an age problem. It's not an adolescent or a teenager issue. It's a heart issue. What do you see and love and respect about yourself when nobody else is giving you kudos? When nobody else is telling you you're beautiful? What do you see about yourself that you know is valuable? More than rubies, more than diamonds. Because how you see yourself as an individual is also a reflection of what you allow in your life. This is a reflection of the company you keep, of the people you date. It's a reflection of what you are battling with on the inside. We do that because, first of all, it's embarrassing. I mean, really, what grown woman wants to say that I struggle with this? I struggle with my self-confidence. I struggle in knowing who I am. I struggle with being confident. I hope that we get to a place to realize that we can confide and say, God, or if you got one good best friend, say, sis, this is something I'm struggling with. That you in return can be validated in the fact that you are enough. That when you take that to God and say, God, I struggle with loving myself. I struggle with thinking I am enough. For some reason, I feel like I have to prove that I got it all together when I don't. For some reason, I feel like I got to prove that I'm really confident, but really deep down inside, I'm broken. These are things that God wants to hear us say, so that he can remind us of the valuable, the worth that we are. But it's going to have to take us being honest and looking at that inner girl and saying, hey, I see you're hurting still. We're going to deal with this. Because I promise you, there is no sense in living a life of a lie. What has taken place to make you feel like you're not good enough? That you're not worth better, that you can't achieve that you're not smart enough, that you're not beautiful enough. What have we accepted? What lie have we accepted by ourselves? What negativity have we accepted from others to validate those negative thoughts within us? We got to go back to the one who created us. And what does God say about me? Because I promise, it don't matter what other people think. If you don't know you're enough, if you don't think you're good enough, you're just living in a vicious cycle and tormenting yourself while everybody else is going about their business. You're the only one suffering in silence when you no longer have to. I want to encourage my sis today. I want to let you know you're enough. You were created with a destiny. You were created with a purpose. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Sis, you have a lot to offer. Because who he created you deep down inside your spirit. Your hair may not be what it want to be. Comb it anyway. Your skin may be acting crazy. Trust me, I know about it, sis. Put some lotion on that thing. Wash it. The truth is, you are enough. There are so many things telling us that we're not. Go back to the heart and tell yourself, I'm more than enough. I am smart. It kind of reminds me of the movie The Help. You was smart, you was kind, and you was important. But the truth is, you really are. You really are. But we got to believe it, because we got a generation of women coming up behind us. And what impact do we want them to have? We want them to know, young lady, little girl, that you are enough, that you don't got to sell yourself short, that you don't got to fake and be something you're not, but be confident in what God and who you are. Trust me, you got this. So this is our homework. We're going to look at that inner girl in the mirror and let her know you are what God says you are. You can have what God says you can have. You can do what God says you can do. You are enough. You don't got to dumb yourself down. You don't have to oversell yourself. You're enough. And guess what? We're all still growing gracefully. If you haven't already, I want you to like, subscribe, share this. You may know somebody who may be in a rut right now. You may know somebody who is struggling to love who they are. Don't be stingy. Share this message so that it can encourage them as well. All right, until next time, let's continue to grow. Love you all.